NESN Patriots beat reporter Dakota Randall now joins me in the PNC Bank Sports Corner. Dakota, the Patriots will close out Gillette Stadium this Sunday, hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just 2 wins on the year for the Jags. The Patriots in the middle of a 2-game losing streak, so a great opponent to fix a lot of their mistakes against. Offensively, where do you see the Patriots, what they need to fix?
Well, I think for the Patriots, it's just important for them to get out to a fast start. These last 2 games, they've fallen behind early, and they're really just not equipped to come back in those kind of games. It's just not the way that they're built. At the beginning of the game against the Bills, right off the bat with the first drive, David Andrews let up a couple of pressures, including the sack of Mac Jones on 3rd down, and then that just got the ball rolling from there. And the Patriots never were able to recover. The Bills got the ball back, went down and scored. And again, the Patriots really aren't built to play from behind with the way their offense is constructed. So for them, they got to get out fast. They got to get out to good starts, and that really just, like everything, comes down to execution.
The Patriots were 1 for 10 on 3rd down against the Bills and 6 for 15 on 3rd down against the Colts. And you mentioned Mac Jones completed just 52% of his passes the last 2 games. Now, how about the defense for this, Dakota? Because they looked like one of the best units, if not the best unit in the NFL. The last 2 weeks have led up 60 points, their most over a 2-game span this season. On the Patriots defense, what do they need to fix?
Yeah, again, it really is just your good players or your best players need to play at their best. And right now, the Patriots aren't really getting it on the defensive side of the ball. Matthew Judon, who for most of the season has been one of the best defensive players in football, he's kind of disappeared over the last 4 weeks. I don't know if it's injury related. I don't know if he's worn out from the high workload that he's had. But he's been in a bit of a slump. In this game against the Bills, I think was his worst of the season by far. They need him to get going. They need him and Christian Barmore to feed off of each other, to rush the quarterback, and then everything kind of goes from there. And they also need someone like Kyle Duggar to not look like a second-year player all the time. They need him to make that next jump. They just need their best players to play like it, and they're not doing it right now because at the end of the day, this Patriots team only is going to go as far as their defense takes them, and they got to play a lot better starting this weekend.
So how important this weekend is it to get the Jaguars? Really bad offense, bad offensive line, averaging 14.5 points per game, just to go in there, correct these errors, and get this confidence going.
Well, first of all, they better win this weekend because if they lose and either the Raiders or the Dolphins win their games, suddenly you're looking at a potential must-win game in the final game of the season down in Miami, and that's a nightmare. But we'll cross that bridge if and when it comes. But, they're getting the Jaguars at a good time. Earlier in the season, the Patriots weren't playing well. They were, I believe, 2-4 after their first 6 games. And then they got the Jets, and they blew the Jets out. And it was kind of a get-right game, and they were off to the races from there. I think they got to hope that this can kind of be the same deal. They can blow out the Jaguars, finish strong against Miami, and then see what happens in the playoffs.
You mentioned if the Patriots lose. If they win this weekend and either the Dolphins or the Raiders lose, then the Patriots lock up a playoff spot. Now, can this defense beat a good quarterback, though? This week they have Trevor Lawrence. Next week it's Tua Tagovailoa. When you look at the postseason, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Ryan Tannehill, those are the guys that will have to beat just to get to an AFC championship game. Can this defense beat a good quarterback when it comes time for the postseason?
Well, I understand we always talk about can the defense beat a good quarterback, and we always sort of talk about matchups in those terms. For the Patriots, it really just comes down to how do they play that day? How do they show up? Are they executing? Are they playing physical? I don't think they were very physical at all against the Bills. I think that was a huge factor in the game. And again, are their best players playing like their best players? But I think when you talk about facing opposing quarterbacks, it's really about what team are the Patriots facing? What kind of matchup is it? Because if you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, for instance, and the Patriots almost beat them last season in Kansas City with Brian Hoyer at quarterback. I think you easily can make the case that the Patriots are better this season while the Chiefs are at least slightly worse. So it just comes down to matchups. If they get the Titans and the Titans are healthy with Derrick Henry, I don't like the Patriots in that game because I don't like their odds of stopping Derrick Henry, and then Tannehill gets the play action and it goes from there. And so we'll just have to see how it goes. I think the Patriots could stack up well with the Colts in a rematch. But again, it's playoffs. It all comes down to matchups. Are you home? Are you on the road? So I just think that comes down to it more than can this defense beat a good quarterback.
All right, we'll wait for the postseason again this Sunday. Patriots win and the Dolphins or Raiders lose. They lock up a playoff spot. One guy that always locks down all the intel we need, Dakota Randall. Appreciate you joining me, brother.
Thank you.
PNC Bank, helping to make banking easier.